What is up, everybody? It is Dov Carpe, and welcome back to the Creators Forum. We are here with, as you can see, episode 10. Before you make a video, do this. I had a call today, and the call went something like this. Hey, Dov, how's it going? I want to talk to you about doing some videos. We have this service that we provide. I'm not going to go into all the details, but we have a service, and we want to recruit more employees, and we want to put out more content. And I was wondering what that would go for, and how we can go about doing that. I said, okay, that sounds great. Question for you: why do you need the videos? Right, I know you want them, but why do you need them? They said, well, we're going a little dry in the employee department, and we want to really ramp that up. Plus, we have a lot of other projects that we're doing, and I think we currently our budget is kind of very bare bones, and we need to kind of ramp that up, and we need to get more sales in. We need to get more money in the door. And as I'm going through all these questions, I'm asking, okay, well, what do you need it for? Are there any other areas that you need video for? Are you sure that this is the best place to put your money? And as we're going through it, he explains to me that, well, he really feels the company needs a complete rebrand and kind of a reordering of the hierarchy of the way that they do things. And he tells me that, it's a little tough for the boss to get on board, to say the least. It's like an uphill battle. I said, okay, I hear what you're talking about. And, I definitely can help out. Definitely can help with all these things. I got a question for you, though. What's your budget? And he said, well, that's the interesting thing. We don't have a budget right now, but I'm looking to kind of put together a quote so I can find out what budget we have and what we don't. And in the process, this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that they're not clear on what their actual needs are. They're talking about a lot of things, a lot of great things, but there's no clarity and there's no kind of system or order in which these are supposed to go down. Like they kind of want this and they kind of want that. And I hear this frequently from many different companies. They'll typically come to me, I want a video, but they don't necessarily know where it's supposed to fit in the entire scheme of things. It's very vague. And I think it's very, very important. If you're going to do a video, you have to understand, what is a video? A video is an amplification device, right? I'm a guitarist. I play guitar. If I'm just playing, it's great. Well, I hope it's great. I think I'm pretty good, right? I play, I sing, a singer-songwriter, and it's really nice. And if I'm just singing along, it's beautiful. It sounds very cute and very nice and clean. People like it, but it's not amplified. People can't hear it. Like maybe the first 10 people, first 100 people, if I'm really going at it. But if I'm playing in front of a festival of 10,000 people, nobody past the first row. And depending on how big the stage is, nobody past the gate, that's standing in front of the stage. Nobody's going to hear it. So you need to amplify it. So you have to understand that video is an amplification device. It amplifies who you are, what your company is, what your product is, what your service is. And it ultimately takes you or whatever you created and brings it to the next level in an exponential way. There's a much larger impact. So as I'm hearing this, as he's telling me all these things and I'm picking up these clues, I'm hearing, number one, that because he's unclear, I don't know if this video is actually going to work. I know you say you need a recruitment video, and I'm sure you do, but I don't know where else your problems lie. I don't know if the recruitment is the biggest thing. And I'll be honest with you, as I'm hearing it, the recruitment isn't the biggest problem. It seems to be that the budget is the problem. He ended up telling me that they have like this 6-month budget. They're able to kind of figure out what they're doing the first 6 months, and then they're struggling the last 6 months. I said, listen, man, if you're trying to recruit and you're trying to do all these projects and big things, you need at least a year or two in your budget, at least of a buffer zone, in order to kind of deploy the plans that you want to deploy. You're always going to be playing catch up. So he was unclear about what exactly he needed and why he needed it. He knew there were a lot of problems, but it wasn't It wasn't clear and what isn't orderly, the problems. The second thing that he mentioned is that he wasn't on the same page as his boss. That is a huge problem. I once, in the beginning of the year, I once had like a CMO reach out to me to do a couple videos. After we discussed, we decided that they needed one or two or three, whatever it was. And I said, okay. And at the time, it sounded amazing. I was like, okay, what's your budget? They gave me a budget. I said, okay, good. You got a budget, got this. Let me send you a proposal. I sent a proposal. Now I'm waiting a day, 2, 3, waiting, for X amount of time for them to get back to me. And then they end up, I reach out and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Where are we holding right now? And they say, oh, we're just waiting for the CEO he's traveling right now, waiting for him to get back and then to, just run it by him. That's it. I said, okay, great. Another day or two goes by, still nothing. I reach out and they say, our CEO wants to know if you have any other videos that you can show him. And what I realized was at this point, they did not have the sign off and they didn't have the buy off from the CEO. The CMO was excited. The head of marketing was excited. Everybody was ready to work with me. But the CEO, because this specific video, I hadn't produced this exact type of video before, he wasn't so certain. So, he decided basically, I think the whole project didn't even go down. I think they stopped the entire project. But what I learned from that experience was unless you have buy off and sign off from everybody, even if you're one of the, C-suite people, you're wasting your time. So by him telling me that there's an uphill battle with his boss, it's kind of like a red flag. And he needs to start working with that boss to figure it out. The third thing is there was no clear budget. So this is how I kind of deconstructed that system. And this is what I told him. I said, number one, you need to define your needs clearly, and you need to define the challenges clearly. And ultimately, I suggest to go about this by going from department to department. You have to figure out what your needs are in sales, what your needs are in marketing, what your needs are in the employment world, your big goals, your small goals, short term, long term, and really need to figure out your entire marketing plan. You have to figure out what are we trying to achieve here. And once you have that down, at least as a general rule of thumb that you can follow, now I can come in there and start helping you. I can come even earlier, but once again, that's where the budget comes in. But you need to first figure that out. Go by department, figure out the problems, prioritize the problems by department, and then now go into the world of your marketing funnel and sales funnel. Figure out how you're going to create that marketing funnel, at least once again, very generally. And then we can now discuss, okay, what is a necessity? What do I need to bring in today? What do I need to do literally now or yesterday? i.e., if you don't have cash flow, well, that's an immediate issue that we need to address. If you're talking about maybe your recruitment, maybe you have no employees, like hashtag Twitter, and maybe you got to get people on board or else the company's going to fall apart. That's also a problem. You got to figure that one out. And once again, that sales funnel, that marketing funnel, how am I going to get people in? What am I going to do to get them excited and involved? And finally, how do I get them to purchase? I need to see that you actually at least have a general understanding of that flow, of that process, of that customer journey. Once you have that down, now I need you to determine a budget. If you say, listen, I don't know what a video goes for. I have no idea. That's perfectly fine. But if I came to you and I said, listen, I can do videos for you for $10 million and you freak out, well, I think it's starting to show you actually do have a certain understanding of what your budget may be. Okay, you can't do 10 million. Would you invest $1 million into this video thing? If you're like, you know what? If it can work, yeah, I'd be open to doing that. I have that flexibility. Okay, now we got $1 million budget to work with. If that's too much, 100,000, get to a point where you're like, okay, I can secure this budget. This is something I know I can do. and potentially even do this. Have an optimal budget. Like if I could utilize X amount, if I can really go into this project as how much is the maximum I'm okay with going into a certain project? And how much is the minimum? You also kind of know. If I say, oh, it'll be $17 for this video, and you're like, oh man, I don't know what type of quality that's going to be. Well, maybe you want to invest a bit more. So give yourself a range. Once you have a range that you're open to dealing with, now we can start speaking about the scope. If I have whatever your budget is, now I can understand, okay, I can look at what you're doing. I can see how you created that general understanding of your flow, of what's important and what's not important right now. And we can start picking and choosing, okay, here's how we can, start working with your cash flow. Here's the type of videos and the messaging and the branding and everything that we need to do in order for you to get that cash flow and for you to now feel more comfortable and relieve that pain point, which is the most painful at the moment. Once we have that, then we can start going into the other areas, less and less pain, and eventually starting into the world of pleasure and getting those luxury items of marketing and branding and sales that everybody ultimately would love to have, that can blast them into the atmosphere. But first, we need to address the biggest problems. Another interesting thing he said to me was, okay, I hear what you're saying. I told him you got to get your boss on board. And he said, okay, well, can you send me a proposal at least of everything that we discussed and put it down? And I said, I'll be honest with you. I would love to send you a proposal, but I can't send you a proposal until I know a relative budget that we're working with. And one of the biggest reasons is that if I don't see a budget at all, number one, I don't know how to guide you correctly because I don't know where we're going. I don't know how much you have to invest into this endeavor. So I can't give you something accurate. Look, the second one is on my side, there have been countless hours that I've put together a proposal. And by the way, anybody who puts together a good proposal knows there's a lot of investment. There's research, there's understanding the market, there's understanding the players involved, the creative, the target, there's a lot that goes into this. And then when you put it together, you want it to look good. You want it to sound good. You want it to be very accurate. And that literally is hours and hours of work. If you don't have a budget that you're working with, well, ultimately, I'm probably wasting my time 9 out of 10 times. I'm not saying you're going to hire me. I'm not saying that you're going to give me the entire budget or whatever. But if we say, look, I got between $5,000 and $12,000 I can invest into this project. Now there's what to work with. Now I can say, okay, here's how I would do it if I was you, in order to achieve your goals. If you're trying to help me convince your boss that this is a good idea, that's not the job of the video company. That's your job. The video company can be there once you have the boss at a place that says, listen, I am down to do it. I just need to be certain. I just want to make sure it's okay. If there is a complete difference of opinion, well, then potentially you're wasting your vendors or potential vendors' time. You don't want to do that. You want to value their time. You want to value your own time. So find a way to at least get a relative sign off from your boss. Yes, I think it's a good idea that we involve video in our company. I think it's a good idea that we involve it for marketing or for sales or whatever it may be. And I agree with you. And yes, I am open to putting into a budget. I'm open to, give whatever, $10,000 towards this thing. Now I need you to find the best companies that potentially can do it. And then come with me and we'll discuss with the company and we'll figure out which is the best one to hire. That's fine. But beforehand, I'm not going to put together a whole entire proposal. What I will do is I will give you my capabilities deck. And in the capabilities deck, it kind of addresses most of the major issues or concerns that companies have. It talks about a little bit of my background. It talks about the projects that I've worked on. There's a bunch of case studies, different types of work that I've done, what I can do, what I can provide. It gives even a pricing chart, so you have a relative understanding of what goes into that. And it's pretty decent to say, okay, whether this sounds like a company that I'm open to working with, or maybe not. And from there, you should be able to figure it out. So my key takeaway points are, for any company that wants to potentially start producing videos, whether you're a marketing manager or a CMO, or if you're the CEO, what I would say is, number one, figure out your main pain points. That's a given. Figure out the biggest issues that you have. Video can solve it. Once again, that's the refrain over here. Video can solve it. We just need to figure out what the pain points actually are, the hierarchy and the priority of those pain points, going from department to department, and then ultimately move it down into your marketing and sales funnel. See how it links up. Make sure that you have that that general outline so that we're all on the same page. Make sure you have a budget range, that the most optimal budget that you possibly can. I would love to invest X into this, or here's the minimal that I think is appropriate to invest into this. Make sure everybody's on board. Before you go to the video company, make sure everybody is on board that we want to at least pursue this avenue. You're not 100% committed to it, but at least make sure that that opening is there. And then finally, now you can start speaking with the video companies, figuring out what type of impact they can have, what they can provide. And then you'll get a good sense on how they can help guide you through the process. So if you like that and you are interested in video and you went through all these things and you want to talk to me, I have this amazing package that I have for everybody out there. And I'm trying to push it throughout the world because I think every single business needs this. And you'll see tremendous results when you do actualize this with your business. That is the holistic video package, right? 3 phases. Phase number 1 is the foundation, creating a promo video, get people excited, creating a product or service video, getting people understanding how your product works and how it's going to work for them, and ultimately case studies or testimonial video. And that is going to help them see the reality of it and see it in action, see how those benefits are going to come to fruition, hopefully within their company as well. That's a $10,000 package. 3 videos, $10,000. These videos can stick with you for years until you want to do a rebrand, or until it's like, I don't know, we're shooting in 78,000K in 3D. At that point, we'll have to talk about it. I will keep on moving forward with that 3D. Don't worry, I'll be there too with you. The second one is traffic. It's a monthly retainer, $1,500 a month to start getting on average like 4 pieces of content a month. Typically, it's like thought leadership videos, or it's a podcast. I'll come in. Well, it depends on where you are, but I can come in there. It's up half a day of filming. We can bang out a lot of stuff, put it out. That's all starting at $1,500. And then after that, phase 3 is the brand booster. And that is obviously project by project, typically starting at about $1,000 at that point. But you're talking about a holistic video package. I also will help you provide the strategy. I'll help you provide the outline and the content outline and how you're going to do it, and calendars, and it'll be amazing. And I look forward to working with you. So reach out to me, dove@carpentrymedia.com, and can't wait to see you on the other side.